Ladies and gentlemen, so today we're going to be covering all of the tips, tricks, and need-to-know information and going over a few kills for Uncollected Captain Marvel. And I must say, out of all the bosses that we've had as the final boss in Uncollected, let's say in the last like 6 months or so, I would say that Captain Marvel is probably the easiest, rivaling Symbiote Supreme, who is also really straightforward as well. But Captain Marvel, the essence of the fight is once you know how to evade and deal with the special one, then it's a very easy game. However, this matchup as well is very interesting because Captain Marvel has a little bit of a penalty against Mystic champions. If you give her energy charges by dealing energy damage or hitting into her block, she's going to take a lot of damage. So the shock actually deals a huge amount of additional damage on Jane Foster here, actually making my 4-star rank 3-1 a viable option for dealing with Uncollected Captain Marvel. So yeah, a really cool little interaction there. I'm not too sure why they gave Captain Marvel, you know, such a penalty and such a disadvantage against Mystic champions, because as you can see, that shock is just absolutely ruining her, dealing just over 4,000 damage every single second, split into 2 ticks. So yeah, it's a pretty good time, man. You know, Jane Foster, we got her as a 6-star on the free-to-play account. You know, that might have been a nice little bonus for this month, but in all fairness, man, you can fight this Captain Marvel with absolutely any champion in the game. Like, any character works. We use Thanos and Colossus for the majority of this Captain Marvel fight on the live stream, and it pretty much is just bait the special one, win the video game. However, I do mess up a little bit toward the end of this one, which is incredibly unfortunate, because we get clipped right at the end of that, because the special one, it is kind of a 3-hit beam component. So the mastery of this fight really does come from being good at consistently evading that special one. It takes a little bit of practice, takes a little bit of time, but after a few tries, you're going to be having a very good time against Captain Marvel. But there are also some strategies that we're going to cover with Power Lock and Innovate champions such as Magic and SpiderGwen that work really well. But as far as energy damage champions go, Mephisto is one of the best as well. We've got a full kill of Mephisto versus Captain Marvel, but like Jane Foster, off his special one, you get 3 stacks of Incinerate, and that just absolutely burns her down. So yeah, so incredibly good there. Mephisto, very nice little finish on that fight. Now, when it comes to some of the easiest times against Captain Marvel, one of my favorite champions playing this matchup is definitely Magic. Captain Marvel does have a node that reduces the effectiveness of power drains by 90%. However, this doesn't affect power lock abilities. So if you're power locking, it's a damn good time. And Magic, you know, she's mainly power lock, but also has the power drain component as well, which makes her special 2 really valuable. And you can see also being a Mystic champion, if we hit into a block, and whenever we have limbo and are dealing energy damage, we also get the benefit of dealing, you know, a huge amount of energy damage toward Captain Marvel as well. So that is very nice. You can see there's little ticks of just over 2,000 every half a second there. So really awesome. And for reducing the amount of special ones to bait out and evade is really nice. However, my timing is a little bit sloppy, lads. You know, it's just after midnight here, so I have made a few mistakes on this matchup, and I need to get a little bit better at kind of reacting to a heavy attack, because a heavy attack is kind of a single swipe up, and you want to be like very quick on the ball, just you know, dodge that and then go back in straight after. But one of kind of the golden rules of Captain Marvel is just constantly bait the special one or power control her in this scenario, which is working really well. You can see in comparison to the Jane Foster matchup, just we didn't have to deal with anywhere near as many specials, dealt with it very quickly. So yeah, maxed out 4-star Magic, absolute MVP, very good option for Uncollected Captain Marvel, and certainly comes highly recommended. Next up, we've got buffed SpiderGwen versus Captain Marvel, and very similar to Magic, a lot of the value in this matchup does come from the special one and her brand new Innovate mechanic. So Innovate, if you're kind of unaware of what it is, it's kind of like a gimped power lock. So it power locks, but only on the hits that you're dealing to the opponent. So yeah, this is really effective in any scenarios where there isn't external power gain. So you're going to see here, we can really get get into some good combos and shut Captain Marvel down in certain scenarios and really not have to worry so much about those special attacks. But I do get, I think, a little bit greedy toward the end of this matchup and go for a special 3 as well. But you can see here, that was a really, really sick combo against Captain Marvel. SpiderGwen is putting in a ton of work. And also in terms of the synergies as well, I don't have the Venom synergy here, so if you wanted a lot more damage output from SpiderGwen in this matchup, you could bring along Venom, and that would really, really boost up SpiderGwen as well. So yeah, we can only get to a maximum of 5 charges, and we're missing something like, I think it's like 80% attack, 85% attack without that synergy in total, because we're missing the opportunity to get another charge and a lot of attack on them. So yeah, it's just absolutely mad the amount of damage that you actually miss out on not having that synergy. But still, man, she's doing very, very well on the fight. You know, the big advantage with Mystic Champions is that having all that additional energy damage, which if you observe really closely, does really kind of add up to nuke this 130k Captain Marvel. And at this point in time, I've got maybe a little bit greedier with the damage, and we're going to go for a special 3 to trigger Hunter Spider mode in order to get kind of that enhanced burst of physical damage on our attacks. So we throw that off, she enters Binary Ignition, and then we just have to dodge a special 1 there. We get a little bit of an assist from the, Auto Evade, because Captain Marvel's special attacks are unblockable as well. This actually, without the Venom synergy, gives SpiderGwen a 100% chance to automatically dodge them if you have 5 charges. So that's also a little bit of a thing that's really, really good in this matchup. So SpiderGwen is actually just one of the top options. She works so well for making the Captain Marvel matchup a little bit easier, but a very, very quick, very, very efficient kill there from SpiderGwen. So putting in some, you know, tremendous work. Now, finally, we've got a full Mephisto kill, so I wanted to bring Mephisto in, and this one, it's a little bit crazy, man, because all of the energy gives her so much binary ignition that she fuels up so incredibly quickly. But what I've tried to do here is kind of knock her into binary ignition early, so that I can get my Incinerates up, because as soon as she enters binary ignition, she also purifies all debuffs on her. So yeah, that's something just to keep in mind as well. But unfortunately, that didn't work out like super well for me in the end. Like, she ended up gaining stuff way too fast. But we did deal, you know, a fair chunk of damage there. So before she enters binary ignition, and you're gonna see it's quick, man. It's really, really quick once you've got all those stacks of Incinerate ticking. Like, she instantly pretty much goes up to 25 there, so you got to be really, really on the ball with this matchup, because she gets those charges so incredibly fast. But we're dodging that, we go in, we retaliate with another special 1 as well. Only get 1 stack of Incinerate that time, so I'm not too sure, you know, exactly what went on there. Get a nice little dodge on the special 1, she comes toward us, but we're ready this time, lads. We're not getting trapped in the corner. Go for another 5 combo, dodge a special 1, get back, dodge the second component of it. It's really, you know, that first bit that's a little bit tricky to deal with. Fire off the special 1, Fate Seal that last, and she's straight in the bin. Mephisto, really, really decent option. Now, to round off this video, we're just going to cover in slow motion how to evade her special 1 and kind of what to look out for. So kind of the big thing you want to look out for is her power bar dropping and also her pulling back, because you don't have a lot of time to react. And it's really kind of that first beam component. You know, she's going to pull back, fire it off, and then slam down. So as soon as you see her kind of pulling back a little bit and the power drops, that is when you want to dash back. So kind of running that back one more time in slow motion. So her animations are a little bit wild, but you can see here she's about to pull back, charges up, unleashes. That's when we want to dodge as soon as those hands are flying forward, and then flies at us. We want to dodge again, and as soon as she pounds on the ground and slams, then you can go in and beat the absolute crap out of her, and it's a proper good time. But there we go, we're going to run it one more time, ladies and gentlemen, just to cover it. So goes in, is about to kind of pull back here. Again, you're going to see the screen get a little bit darker. You want to dash back as soon as she thrusts those hands forward, and then dodge out of the way as soon as she is slamming down. And then as soon as she's slammed down, it's safe to go in and start hitting her again. Now, just to recommend a few more champions as well, I've seen people having really good success using Hood, kind of spamming the special one for that shock debuff there as well. I haven't seen anybody using Dormammu, but I imagine he would, you know, not be too bad for this as well. Doctor Strange should be relatively decent, along with Symbiote Supreme, and, you know, every single Mystic champion does have the advantage of dealing that additional energy damage. So, you know, you can bring Mystic champions if you want. Aside from that, Power Control can help out a little bit there, but again, once you know how to dodge the special one, pretty much any champion will work in the Captain Marvel matchup. But let me know in the comment section below who you used and who you would recommend for Uncollected Captain Marvel. Aside from that, thank you very much for watching, take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.